Hi everyone, I'm Teacher Ben. So welcome to this new episode of Conceptual Thinkers Talk Primary Math Concept. So this is after PSLE, so I get to have more time now to actually create more videos. Now for this episode, I will be looking at P5 area and perimeter, and I chanced upon a question from the neighborhood school, Shu Qun Primary, and I see that this question is unique, so I feel that it's a good opportunity to actually share this question with all of you. So without further ado, let's look at the question. Now this is the question from P5 Shu Qun area and perimeter practice question 9. So I will be using our 4I methodology to solve this question. So let's start with interpreting the question. Now the figure below is made out of 3 rectangles and a square. Now the unshaded rectangle has a perimeter of 56 cm and the unshaded square has an area of 49 cm square. So first we need to find the total area of the shaded part, and next we need to find the perimeter of the shaded part. So let's fill in some information that was given by the question. So they say that the perimeter of the unshaded rectangle, so this is the unshaded rectangle, so the perimeter is 56 cm. Then the unshaded area of the square is 49 cm square. So just by looking at the question, so we know that they are asking for area and perimeter. So the concept they're trying to test here will be area and perimeter. Okay, so this is how we identify the concept. So next, we're going to implement the step to solve it. So first, let's understand that when you have an area of the square, so the next thing we can find is the length of the square. So there's 2 ways to go about doing it. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to use the area of the square to find the length. First, since for the square is length times length, so length times length will give me the area of the square. So what we can do is we can think about our times table. So what times what? The same number times same number must give me the area of the square. So in this case, we need to think about what times what must give me 49. So according to our times table, it should be 7 times 7. Okay. Now another way to do it is we can use a function called square root. So in your calculator, so there will be a function of square root. So we can do a square root 49. So that will give me 7. So what this function square root is doing is they are helping you to look at what will be the same number times same number when you do a square root of the area. Okay, so you can use the function to actually get the length. So let's put this information into the diagram so that we can see what are the things that we still need to find the area of the shaded part. So this will give me 7 each. Okay, so now let's think about the part that is shaded. So this rectangle here is shaded, and this rectangle here is also shaded, right? So for both rectangles, we have one of the side. So to get the area of the rectangle, we need to use length times breadth. So this means that we have to find the other side. So let's think about this 56 cm. So how we can make use of this to find the area of the shaded part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this length here as L. So because this is length, so I use the letter L to represent. Then in terms of the breadth here, I use B to represent. Okay, so I'm going to use these 2 letters and put it inside the diagram. So this will give me L, and this will give me B. So this will be 7, this will be B. So this will be 7, and this will be L. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this L and B to represent my 56. So for part A, now take 2L, because L plus B and B, so 2B. that should give me 56 cm, right? Okay, so we have two sets of L and B. Now, what if I'm looking at just L plus B? So if just L plus B, which means that instead of having two sets of L plus B, I just need one of them. Then I can take 56 divided by 2. So if I take 56 divided by 2, I should get 28 cm. Okay, for L plus B. Okay, so next, let's look at what should be the area of the small shaded rectangle. So I will write area of small shaded rectangle. So the calculation of this will be using length times breadth, right? So let's call 7 as the length. So I'll take 7 and I multiply by the breadth, which is B. So this will give me 7B for area of the small rectangle. Okay, so now if I look at the area of the big shaded rectangle, so I will be taking L, which is the length, multiplied by the breadth, which will be 7. So this will give me 7L. Okay, so this will be the area. Now, you do notice that to get to the total shaded area, I need to add the small shaded rectangle plus the large shaded rectangle. So this will give me 7 breadth plus 7L. So 7B plus 7L. Then I do know that 1 length plus 1 breadth will give me 28. So this means that this must give me, I need to have 7 of L plus B. That will be the total shaded area. So I'm going to take 28 because L plus B will give me 28, but I need 7 of them, so I need to multiply by 7. So this will give me 196 cm squared, and this will be the answer for part A. Okay, now next, let's focus on part B now. They want us to find the perimeter of the shaded part. So one way that I will do is I will try to put a cross, or I will first highlight what is the perimeter. So this will be the perimeter here, and I also need to include here. So if you have difficulty, or your child has difficulty looking at outline, it will be good to use highlighter to actually outline the perimeter. Then next, what you can do is find where is the starting point that you want to look at when you are calculating the perimeter. So I will prefer to use this cross here as my starting point. So to get the perimeter of shaded parts, I will take 7. You notice that I put an arrow, so I know where is my starting point. I add in my B, then I add in my 7, add in another 7 plus L plus 7 plus another L, then plus B. So the addition of this will give me the perimeter of the shaded part. Then let's do some grouping up. So I have 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus, so I have an addition of 4, 7. So 7 times 4 will give me 28. And I do addition now. How many B's I have? I have 2 B's. Then I also have 2L. Now we do notice that 2B plus 2L is 56 cm. So it will be 28 plus 56. So if you add them up together, you should get 84 cm. So this is how I will be calculating to get the perimeter of the shaded part. Okay, so this is how I solve the question, and now I need to inspect the solution. So do remember that you have to look at the question and answer to the question. So please ensure that you are solving for the total area for your part A, and also to solve for the parameter. Now if you are doing area, please use the area formula. Don't use the wrong formula, because one of the common mistake that students make is to use the wrong formula. The next thing is ensure that you don't have any transfer error, because sometimes, right, you may use a wrong number and that will lead to a wrong final answer. And ensure that when you do your calculation, you will be able to and use your calculator and check every single step so that you don't make any calculation error. Okay, usually for diagram question, it may not be easy to do another method to recheck the solution, but what we can do at least is to ensure that we don't make common mistake like transfer error, calculation error, and answer the question wrongly. Yeah, this is how I actually solve the question. Yeah, this is how I use our Center for I methodology to solve the question. Now, for diagram question, I have actually two types of student when I try to teach them diagram question. So there will be one type of student who will be able to perceive and understand how you actually handle the question, because the way that they visualize the diagram is almost the same as how you see it. So, but I do have another group of students who has, I would say, different way of perceive diagrams. So one way that I help students who don't perceive diagram as the same as how I see it is maybe for parameter, I will use the outline. So I will use a highlighter to actually trace out the outline. Then when they do the calculation of parameter, I will put a cross at one point. Then I will move around the parameter and will do the addition of the length. And once I move back to the original point, then that actually signifies that you consider all the outline of the diagram. So for, let's say for area, then I will ask them to do some shading. So that is to help them to see the questions and also apply the formula to use it. Okay. Now for diagram question, especially like area and parameter, I would say that besides using the formula, there's usually no fixed way, because every diagram may look a bit different. So the reason why I use this question, because it's not the usual kind whereby you just apply formula. You have to use some technique to handle it. So every time you see a new technique, it is good that you actually note down somewhere that you actually see a particular new technique to do the question. Then take note on it. So when you do your revision, you may want to refer to that question again, so that you are able to recall how to do this kind of question, or this technique that you probably can use it when you are doing some new question. Okay, so these are some little tips that can help you to get better when you are doing diagram related questions. So for example, like maybe angles. So this kind of question will be good if you can note down certain technique on how you perceive or some new way to solve the question. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I hope you enjoy and learn something. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye.